Hey everyone. I hope everyone's staying busy during this crazy quarantine that we're all in. I thought it would be fun to make a video about something I love to do, which is drawing using the Zentangle method of drawing. It was created by Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas, and there's a lot of information on Zentangle.com if you want to look it up. There's videos, a blog, great information, even products you can buy. But I'm going to show you today a very quick introduction and how to get started with this method. So if you came to a class with me, it would be about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I would go very slowly, explain it very well. This I'm hoping to do in less than 30 minutes, just so that if you want to teach it to your kids or you don't have a long attention span, you can get through it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go through it kind of fast. Feel free to pause at any time and work at your own pace. So to get started, I have a piece of scrap paper, and then I have something called a tile. It's about, I think it's a 3.5-inch tile. I don't remember, but you can Zentangle or use the Zentangle method on any piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper, any size you want. I like to work small. You also need a pen or a marker or a crayon, something to draw with. And then I have my little pencil here that I'm going to use also. So I have a pencil, a pen, scrap paper, and something to make my final product on. So before I work on the product, I want to show you some of the basic strokes of the Zentangle method. So if you know how to make a dot, and you know how to make a line, and you know how to make an orb or a circle, and you know how to make a curve, and then kind of an S shape. If you can make those shapes or lines, you can make pretty much any tangle that you find out there. It's really just using those shapes to make bigger, cooler, fancier shapes. So the first one I'm going to show you is called Crescent Moon, and I'm going to write that down. Some of these are named after what they look like, and some of these are named pretty randomly. So Crescent Moon is going to be making a little hill like that, kind of like a C. And I'm just going to make a series of those. And after I make those, I'm going to put bottoms on them. And then I'm going to color them in. Now I'm going to color kind of quickly, but if I was doing this on my own time and I was trying to relax, I would even take my time coloring them in, going really slow and enjoying the process of just coloring them in. I'm using a black pen. You could use any color you want. I tend to like the black and white. So this is my crescent moon, the start of it. And then I'm going to do something called aura. And aura means I'm going to go around it. But I'm just going to go around the top like that, and then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go around the top of that one. If your shapes are close together and they touch, that is okay. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to aura again. And I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to go down. I'm not going to touch that bump. I'm just going to go like this and do the next bump, and the next bump, and the next bump. And I'm going to do it again. So aura is following a shape. My lines got kind of wiggly and some got close, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's the first shape, called Crescent Moon. The next one is called, I think it's called Printemps. I always pronounce it wrong. Printemps. And this is one of my favorites. Anytime I'm doodling, anytime, I tend to make this shape. So printemps is a spiral. Some people call it cinnamon rolls, but you basically start with a little dot, and you're going to aura around that dot and make a swirl. But I'm going to close my swirl. So I'm going to go around and close it. I'll make another one. I start with my dot, around, and close it. Now if I want to make a big one, I can make a dot, and I can go around several times and close it. I can make big ones, tiny ones. Now I'd make mine a little bit apart, but now if I want to, I can squeeze some in to fill in the spaces, like that. I also can make them go behind, which we call hollabaugh. Hollabaugh fashion is going behind. And if I did that, I would actually lift my pen and then pretend like it went behind it, and then go around and lift my pen. And see how that looks like it goes behind. I'll do that one more time over here. I'm gonna make a little dot. Sorry, my shadow's in the way. I wonder if I could move my light. Go around, pick up my pen when I get to an edge, and pretend like it's going that way, and then come back down. Now you have crescent moon in printemps. This one's a fun one called hollabaugh. Hollabaugh is a fun one that there's so many variations of. We're going to start pretty simple today. But this one you're going to make a line, and it can go diagonal or up and down, any direction you want. And then I'm going to aura that line and make a line right next to it. See if I can get more light. It's not really working. Okay, so I made kind of a road, and it can be wide, it can be narrow. And then I'm going to make another road, but it's going to go behind. So this time I'm going to make a line. Gosh, I wish I could fix this light. Let me see. I move it over here. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to make another line, and I'm going to pick up my pen and come out the other end. I'm going to aura that, pick up my pen, and come out the other end. Now it looks like the road goes behind. I'm going to do another one at kind of a different angle. Pick up my pen and go through. Go next to it, pick up my pen, go through. If I want, I could do one this way. Go through a couple of lines. So that's called hollabaugh. Kind of looks like roads are stacking up on each other. Okay, the last one we're going to practice is called tipple. And tipple is done making little circles, orbs. It doesn't matter if they're misshapen, just try to close them. And next to that one, I'm going to make one a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to keep making circles. You can see where this could be really relaxing. If you just wanted to sit and fill a piece of paper with circles, you could do this for a long time. I'm not going to make these go behind each other. I'm just going to kind of keep bumping them into each other. I'm going to make some tiny ones. I'm going to make some big ones. It's fun to have different sizes. I don't know if you can see. Try to zoom in a little. But if I have a space between them, I could even color that in. It kind of gives it some depth. So that is called tipple. So we're going to use these 4 to make our first tile, or whatever you're working on. All right, I'm going to scoot those aside. I have this blue paper because my desk is white, so it's hard to see the tile. So for our tile, I'm going to put my pen away, grab my pencil, and I'm going to make 4 dots in the corners of my little tile. If you're using a piece of scrap paper, I recommend making 4 dots on your paper to make your space smaller. It's easier working in a smaller space. After you make the dots, we're going to draw some lines. And I'm going to do a really light pencil, and I'm just going to connect my dots like that. You can use a straight line, kind of a wavy line, it doesn't really matter. And again, nice and light with your pencil. I would not use a pen for this part. Sometimes these lines end up disappearing underneath our artwork. So if you had a piece of scrap paper, you could make a little square on it, kind of like that. Okay. So back to my tile. I've made our dots and our lines. Now we have to make something called a string. And a string is what breaks up this space. So it's a little bit easier to Zentangle in. So to break up my space today, I'm going to put dots in the middle of each line. And I'm going to start over here on the left side, and I'm going to go up to the top, curvy or straight, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I can make it again curvy or straight, and I'm going to go up to that side over there. And it looks like a Z for Zentangle. So this is called a string. It breaks up my paper. If I do a tangle and I like it a lot and I want it to spread out, I can. I don't know if that makes sense. But this is just a suggestion of where to start. So we're going to start up here in the left corner. I'm going to put my pencil down and switch back to my pen or crayon or marker, whatever you're using. And we're going to start with crescent moon, and we're going to put it in this shape up here. So to do crescent moon, I make my little bumps. And I have a little space in between my bumps. Doesn't really matter if you make them big or little. And the nice thing about working with a small piece of paper or a tile is that you can turn it. Makes it a little bit easier to work with. I'm at this corner, and if I want, I can make my bump kind of go over the corner. All right, after you make your little bumps, you're going to color them in. So I'm going to put a bottom and color it in. And a bottom and color it in. Now I'm going quickly, but if I was doing this in my own time, I would go nice and slow and enjoy the process of simply coloring. One stroke at a time, slowly and carefully. I encourage you to make another one of these after you make one with me, and take your time and see how it changes. Turning my tile. They look like little hills or little ladybugs. Okay. After they're all colored in, I'm going to do the technique called aura, where you go around. And I'm just going to go around the tops. Go around. Kind of close. You can see over here, they're about to bump into each other. That's okay. They like to say there's no mistakes when you Zentangle. We're not making this to sell at an art show. We're just doing it for fun and relaxation. It's okay if we mess up. Okay, so now that I have my first aura, I'm going to go back and do it again, but this time I'm not going to touch anything. So I made that little hill, but I'm not going to touch. Then I'm going to go over that hill and that one. And I'm going to keep going. Again, I'm going kind of quickly. You do not need to. I'm going to do it again. And again. There. Filled our first space, crescent moon. All right, for the next one, Printemps, I'm going to go to a bigger space. And I'm going to start with some pretty big spirals. So I'm going to make a dot, and I'm going to aura around it, and then stop. Aura around it, and stop. Now remember the process of halaba, which means go behind? We're going to do that over here. So I'm going to do my spiral. And when I get to this line, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pick up my pen and pretend like it comes out on this side. So that's my go behind. Do it again. I'm going to stop. But over here on these open edges, which is not going to be any tangling on the outside, I'm actually going to let my spirals go off of that pencil mark. So I'm going to just go right over my pencil like that. Does that make sense? I'm not going to do my go behind over there just because it gives it kind of a cool look. After I have some big ones, I'm going to fill in the space with some smaller ones. And this is where you really need to do your go behind. Picking up your pen. See, it looks like it's peeking out. So look right here, I've got this funny space. It's not really going to fit a spiral. So if I want, I can just make some lines to fill it in. Same here, I can just make some lines to fill it in. I have a space here. I'm going to make some little curves to fill it in. Almost done. our second section filled in. All right, for this other big space over here, let's do Hollabaugh. Hollabaugh is the roads. So to make the roads, I'm just going to pick a spot nice and long. I'm going to make my road pretty close together, kind of narrow. It doesn't matter what you choose. I'm going to pick another spot, pick up my pen, and continue on the other side. Pick up my pen, that way it looks like it's going behind. It's fun to make these at all different angles. Pick up my pen, go behind. Keep turning and finding different places to put a new road in. When you think you're done, challenge yourself to do a few more. There are a lot of cool variations to this one. You can fill the roads in with patterns, or you can put patterns in the empty spaces. So many cool things you can do, but for today, we're just going to make roads. You can see where I just kind of keep adding another one. All right, I think I'm done for now. There's Hollabaugh. For the last section, we're going to do tipple. And for tipple, we're not going to do go behind. So for tipple, we're just making circles and we're going to smush them together. But I'm going to start with some big circles. And I'm not going to cross this line. I'm actually going to darken this line. I'm not going to cross that line, but I am going to cross these outside lines, kind of like I did over here with the printout. Just because I like the way it flows. Remember, that line is just a suggestion. You don't have to keep it. After I make some pretty big circles, I'm going to start making some medium circles. And I'm going to start filling in these spaces with medium and tiny. And if you have room to put another big one, put another big one in. See how it's kind of filling up? Now if I go really fast, these turn into ovals and they get kind of messy. So remember to go slow. When you go slow, it just looks nicer. I'm rushing, so you don't have to sit through all of this and watch me do all of them. Take too long. Remember, you can go back in and fill in spaces and darken them if you want. It kind of gives it some depth. You could see where you could sit and do this all day long. I find it very relaxing to make tipple. Tiny ones. Smushing them together. And where you have spots, empty spaces, do some darkening. I'm going to go back over here by Hollabaugh and darken my outside line. I think around my crescent moon I will also. All right, what do you think? Hold yours up, hold it far away, twist it, turn it. Pretty cool little piece of art. You can see where it would be fun to put things inside here to add some dimension. And when you're done, you should always initial your work. It's called a chop if you do initials in a cool way. So my initials are KB, so I'm going to do a backwards K, and then I do a little B like that, and then I actually turn mine into kind of a little butterfly. That's my chop. So to play with your initials, make something kind of cool out of them. And then on the back, I always write the date and where I was, what I was doing. So I might name this tile Quarantine because we're doing it during the quarantine, and just kind of a memory of making this tile. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to make some more. I would love for you to send me pictures of the tiles you make so I can see all of your great artwork. Enjoy!